Okay, so welcome back, and as you know, or from the last video I posted anyways, I've got this mill coming on the way, at least we hope so. Turns out this thing's a little heavier than I thought. I was figuring about 5,500 pounds, but when I started doing a little more research on it, that is for the number 2 Cincinnati. It'll start with the 207 or something similar. And this is a 3, so it's a little bigger. It turns out this weighs somewhere between 6,500 pounds to 7,000 pounds. It depends on the exact features that are on them. They vary a little bit. But I'm figuring that we're going to be pretty close to 7 on this. So first off, I got to do a gantry, which we're going to be showing that in another video. But in order to lift it, I had a little winch here that maybe I could have done a lighter machine. I lifted my lathe with it, but it's not going to be enough for this by any means. I did look at the 2,500 pound Badlands that Harbor Freight has, and I was considering that when I had the weights for the number 2, but trying to do a 3 with that, even with doubling the rope over, using a tackle block, still would be pushing limits. It's within spec, but I don't want to run it right at spec. That's asking for trouble. So I spent about twice what I intended, and I got the 1,200 pound Badlands winch. So I might as well do a review on this while we're at it. Okay, so let's see what we got in here. There is a good bit of weight here. I think they said it weighs close to 100 pounds when I picked it up at the store. Feels somewhat close to that when I lift it. I don't know. To me, maybe 80, but you know, I'm not a good judge of weight. So instructions. Got a forged hook. This looks like our remote control, wired style. My understanding is that you can get a wireless remote for this as well. This, I believe, is supposed to be 12 feet, which works out just about perfect for what I want to do, because my gantry is going to be about 13 feet up to the winch, maybe 14 feet to the top of the winch. Which will put this in good working room. Set that aside. Okay, I think that's just a little marker for the end of the cable to help you pull it out without grabbing the rope on the actual steel cable. This is the one with the steel cable. There's a more expensive one that uses a synthetic rope. A lot of people say they like them, and I kind of see it because they're more flexible, you know, and they don't get the abrasion stuff that you can get with steel. They're not going to stab you with the little fray that comes off on them. But on the flip side of that, rope deteriorates over a couple of years if it's exposed to the weather. At least polypropylene does, and that's what it looks like it had on it. It's probably strong enough when it's new, but I really question its durability in the long run. I mean, it's cheap enough to change, but they wanted another $100 for that particular winch, and it has the same capacity as this. It is a little faster, I think. I think they have a faster gearing. So I mean, I guess it's a matter of preference. This actually fits the build better for me. I don't want it running that fast because I'm lifting a machine. I'm not trying to pull a truck out of the woods with it, though it may get used for that in the future. But you know, as long as it pulls and it's got strength, what I'm looking for is good high pulling strength on it. The speed is not that important to me. I'd rather have it a little on the slow side. That and durability. And we'll see what we got. You know, once we run this to lift the machine, that lifting this machine is probably going to be the biggest test I'll ever give this thing. It's going to be more of a strain than pulling, you know, somebody out of the woods as far as I'm concerned. So this should be a really good test for it. Okay, so we've got some kind of control box here. I'm assuming that this is a relay box. You got your controller plugs in here, it looks like, and I think this just snaps on the top there from what I can see. They're curved, they fit on there. So probably we got two of these that go to the battery and two of them go to the motor on the winch is what I'm assuming. Not sure how they laid this out. We'll have to go through the instructions on that. Because they got this yellow one here, and there are 3 studs on the motor. Not sure. Maybe they use like a solenoid inside there. Again, we'll know more once we go through the instructions. So we got our fair lead for the front of this. And this does look pretty heavy duty. 4 roller setup, so it's going to protect in all the different angles. And it's a pretty thick steel. It looks like about a 3/16 thickness here. So it should hold up to some pretty heavy usage. One more battery cable here. Okay, so they may have 3 go to this off the controller, and this way, probably the common on the negative is how that works. I'm assuming that's what they're doing. Okay, this looks like a tined circuit breaker block here, because I recognize these. It's like a thermal type circuit breaker that resets itself. So I think they said the max draw on this is about 300 amps, basically like a starter motor on an older vehicle. So they're probably 100 amps each on here is what that is. Actually, no, they're only 50s. What they may be doing is 300 temp for short term, and 150 long term continuous. That might be what they're figuring. I don't know. A little curious about that because the specs on the box say 300 amp, but that may just be like a dead stall. What I'm going to do, I'm going to set this on the ground and then pull it out. There we go. So it's definitely got some weight to it, I'll say that. I don't have a scale. I'd say a good 70 pounds just for this part without the rest of it on there. I don't know, it's probably, the whole thing's probably about 80 pounds. Okay, so that's good. That's our free spool. Let's see. might have to turn it a little to, there it is. So that's a pretty good sized cable on there. I'd say that's at least a 1/2 inch, if not more. So they got some kind of drag mechanism here to try and keep it spooling neat without getting all tangled up. That's what these springs are. You got this part that holds the two sides of the winch together. And then this roller here actually pinches down on the top of the cable. See, we got two furrows on. No, there's not one furrow, but the crimp is in the middle here. I would have liked to have seen a second crimp in here. If you can see this right here, that's where they crimp this to tighten it up. I really would have liked to have seen at least two on here to really clamp that down tight. Oh, okay, they got it's crimped this way as well. I'm not sure what kind of tool they use, but there's crimps on both the front and back that run lengthwise in between the two halves of the cable. So that's what they're doing here. So it's basically got a full length crimp on there. Okay, oh, there's another terminal down here. So we'll have to see what that one is there. Okay, so this must be a mount. Some kind of green in here. Is it almost, yeah, they used Healy. This is weird. It appears to be an aluminum casting on the ends of the spool here, the mount point where you mount it. But inside they used, it looks like a Healy coil that's in there. I'm not sure what the reason is. Maybe they're thinking that it would be more durable, that you're not at risk of stripping the aluminum, especially if you're frequently going on and off with it, you know, moving it from one vehicle to another. A little curious about that. Pretty good sized bolts though. I don't know if it's metric or standard yet, but if it's standard, it's probably like a 3/8, I'm gonna say. 8 millimeter, somewhere in there. So I'm going to pause now. I'm going to take a look and see how the wiring goes. I've got my power supply. It's certainly, granted it's a powerful power supply, but not enough to run this full load. But it should be enough to start it up and just kind of spool it in and out a little bit. Maybe we can just check it and make sure everything functions. I'm just going to shoot some close-ups by hand here, show some of the stuff that didn't come out all that clear in the first video I shot. So that's that Healy coil I was talking about. Hopefully you can see that green in there. That's actually an insert that's inside there. I'm pretty sure that's a Healy coil setup. And they're in all of them, so it's not a matter of it being stripped out and they just, you know, patch this. This is factory here. So the other thing I wanted to show here in detail, this is that fuse block I was telling you about. It didn't come out that great in the first shot, so a little close-up of it. And if you can see here, just gonna get it to show up. That's that 50 amps right there. A little hard to see, but I think you can make that out. So you add them all up, they're in parallel. It's going to be 150 amps. So I'm guessing that it's 150 amps continuous normal load with a surge that can go up to 300. Where it's a heating element type, they'll take overload for a few seconds before they trip. And it looks like it comes with that must be most of that must be the mounting hardware. Either that or the fair leads. But probably what you do is you mount it on a plate and have the fair lead on the other side of the plate. Again, I got to go through the instructions and see how this is all supposed to go together. Okay, so I was just testing out the winch, make sure that it's going to be able to lift everything okay. This is single line, so it's what I'm lifting here is actually probably more than what the machine would be with using a double line setup. This lifted without any real problem. It does slow down a little bit when you get the full load on, but it definitely does it. I got a truck about a foot off the ground here on the front. That's the heavy end. I probably should have filmed this from the start, but yeah, maybe I'll just lift it a little more here and kind of show you. Okay, now I'm going to set her back down. Okay, and I think that completes that test. And it looks like it passed without any troubles at all. I didn't see any flexing of the beams up here at all, so that all seems plenty strong enough. Wasn't even a little twist in it. I don't have the back loop up on there, which is going to balance it out, so the front and back have equal load on it when it's double line. So right now it's just pulling off the front edge of that, which, you know, should induce a little twist, but I didn't see anything notable at this weight. Now this truck, it weighs about 6,000 pound total. Most of the weight's on the front. I'm kind of figuring probably lifting about 4,000 pounds on the front here. The machine weighs 7 double loop, so 3,500. So we've exceeded what we're gonna need. If you've made it this far, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video and found it entertaining or educational. If so, please consider hitting like or subscribe. It does help give me incentive to continue producing more. Thank you.